Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes that I have personally committed during my keto journey. I figure that sharing these maybe helps you avoid some of the pitfalls and traps that I fell into. So one of the first mistakes that I commit is not drinking enough or forgetting to drink. Because it is often that you mistake, you think you're hungry and you're really thirsty. So with a good glass of water, the hunger disappears. Don't forget to hydrate. Another one of my frequent mistakes is not sleeping enough. I have two dogs. Sometimes one of them doesn't feel good or wants to be let out at night. And it really robs my sleep, and the next day I am not feeling well. I have been wearing the Stelo continuous glucose monitor for a while, and I have been able to clearly see the effects that lack of sleep has on my sugar levels. They spike for no reason at all, well, for the stress. And I have seen that repeatedly during the time I was using the glucose monitor. So effectively, stress will kick me out of ketosis. There is one of the big ones for me. Another one that I have done several times, going shopping in a hurry and not reading the labels. I have found myself at home with things that had way more carbs in them than I had thought or had calculated or was willing to eat. Or I was getting things where I didn't observe the serving size right. Yeah, anything they tell you it is several servings where you calculated the whole bag would be one serving size. I try to stay away anyways from anything bagged or boxed because that's where the traps are located for me, at least all the time. And I don't honestly take all the time to read all the labels like I should. There are many traps in the labels, and it is easy to mess up when you got the wrong thing. Another of my favorite mistakes is to only measure my success by weight. And when I don't see the scale going down like I thought it should, getting upset and getting stressed, and look at the previous point, sugar spike from stress, or comparing myself to other people, seeing how other people lose the weight like nothing. And in my case, it's not that easy. I am hormonally challenged, and any pound lost for me is a true battle. So it is sometimes very easy to get disappointed or discouraged, and with that bring in some stress that I don't need. And that spikes my sugar, spikes my insulin, and kicks me out of ketosis right there. I mean, I do it to myself, honest. And sometimes when I'm battling for any pound weight loss and it doesn't work like I think it should, thinking that keto is not for me or that ketosis doesn't work, the keto diet doesn't work, and just giving up and going back to old habits. I've done that a few times, and that always I got penalized and punished immediately with a few pounds of weight gain. That showed me clearly that keto did work. It was working. I just wasn't giving it the time, and I gave up too soon. Number 6 on my list of favorite mistakes would be calling it a cheat day. Let's presume you meet up with a friend and it's about going to eat something, eat a bite, grab a bite, and that bite turns out to be way higher carb than you should be eating. So you say, I call it a cheat day and I go back to keto tomorrow. Well, first of all, it takes you 2-3 days at least to get back into ketosis, unless you work out like a possessed person. And also, I mean, how many cheat days per week do you have then? And there's also what is in a name. I mean, when you cheat, you are already doing something that is not right. It's in the name, it's cheating. So you did something that you probably later beat yourself up over. I prefer to rather have strategic high-carb days that I schedule beforehand, to usually once a month. And that way I don't have cheat days. I have strategic higher days of higher carbs. There's a lot in a name. When you plan something, then you are not cheating yourself. You are planning something and you are doing something according to plan. And then you can change your plan as needed. Another one is not eating enough. For example, you haven't eaten enough breakfast, and now at lunchtime you are so starving that you grab the first thing you find because you are so hungry. That is also goes into the category of failing to plan. You should always have a baggie or with bacon or cheese chips with you, just so it doesn't catch you off guard if hunger attacks. And of course, eat until you're full and then don't eat until you're hungry again, which leads directly to the next point, keto snacks. There are on the market a bunch of keto snacks, and they are, if you read the label, they are not really good for you on one hand. On the other hand, it is very easy to overeat them, and then all your macros are thrown off. Another thing is that if you have a sweet tooth and you get yourself into keto sweet snacks, you will battle your sugar addiction all the longer. So it is better that if you need a quick in-between snack, you have with you some bacon, some nuts, some cheese, a hard-boiled egg, something like that, but don't give into a sweet tooth. I have done that several times and it always leads into a spiral. Another one is eating when not really hungry. Just because it's lunchtime, well, if you're not hungry, don't eat. Just make sure that when you eat enough to be comfortably full. And then stop eating until you're hungry again. I have to keep telling myself that, because sometimes I'm like, oh, it is only 11 a.m. I might as well wait till lunchtime. No, I break my fast at 11 then because I'm hungry. And that's, for me at least, the best way to avoid this mistake of eating because it's time for a certain meal. All these doing these acrobacies around eating, like keto snacks or sweet snacks, not reading your labels, it all leads to the biggest mistakes in my understanding of all. It's the carb creep. You've been fighting so hard to get the carbs down to under 25 to get you into ketosis, and then little by little, inadvertently, you start increasing again all the carbs, and before you know it, you are out of ketosis and you're eating almost again the diet you were eating before. And you still probably may feel deprived. I've done that. I felt actually deprived just because I thought I was eating less carbs than I really was eating. So once in a while I do track just to make sure I'm still on track. And also tracking ketones. I track my ketones with a stick in the finger, and a ketone meter. That is, in my opinion, the best method to find it out. And of course, if you have measuring strips that aren't okay anymore or something, and the whole measuring fails, then it is very easy to get discouraged and to give into a carb feast because keto isn't working. All these are my favorite mistakes. They are all very easy to get into. They definitely get you off track. And it is, I think, always good to check yourself how you're doing, so you can course correct as you realize that something went off rails, before you not only fall off the wagon but drag it into the woods and set it on fire. I've done that several times. But yes, I hope this is helpful for you and helps you to avoid some of the mistakes that I made. Another is, thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing.